Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Kaylana, the bus driver here. And so today I want to talk about a topic that has actually been on my heart for a while and on my mind in regards to some of these platforms that we're on. And so I think that you can also apply this to even on your job as well. And so what I've been thinking is, when would you know if you're in a situation with these platforms, if you should stay and just fight, or if you should just walk on and just, move on with your life? And so, you know, some of these companies that we've been with, they have gone through lawsuits, and so they have not paid the workers or the drivers their income, their earnings, or they may have been stealing or hiding tips or whatnot. There's a glitch. It's always something going on, or unfair wages, and I mean the list goes on and on. It could be discrimination and things like that. And so, these are like the people who actually got involved into the lawsuits, as far as like the drivers or the delivery people or whatnot. These are people that said, this isn't fair, this isn't right. It's time for us to stick up for ourselves and stick up for other people. And so let's just do this. Let's just make this happen. And so then the lawsuits came about. And then, of course, these companies got sued because, Uber's gotten sued, I think, a few times, and Instacart's gotten sued before. From my understanding, I think Grubhub's gotten sued, and DoorDash, I think. And so it's kind of like a revolving door, I think. And I understand the point because, even with the Instacart lawsuit, they actually owe me a lot of money. They owe me several $100s. And so I was surprised by that because, I had no idea that they were stealing that much money from me. It was just unbelievable, but that's just the way that it is. But so the question is, when would you know, or when would you decide on actually standing up to fight and just walking on and say, it's just not worth it. I'm just not going to do this anymore. Because there are people that are on the platform who feel like, okay, you know what? I'm going to actually contact an attorney and see if I have any options here. Or some people say, I'm just going to stop driving, or I'm just going to stop delivering, and then I'm just going to move on with my life. And so, I think some people are different. Like, I think it's different for some people. There are a lot of people in this world who just feel like, some things are just too dramatic for me. I'm not going to deal with it. It's not that deep. So I'm just going to quit doing it and not worry about it and just move on with my life. And that's understandable because that makes a lot of sense. You definitely don't want to get involved into something that's going to, take up too much of your time away from, your kids or your family, and even, your own personal time is very valuable. And so, I see that a lot in my comments where people may say, well, just find a job or find another job. And what makes you think I haven't been doing that already, And also, just quit and stuff like that. So, I mean, people have their own opinion and they are entitled to their own opinion. So I give them that. But at the same time, you do have a few people who actually care, not just about their own personal well-being, but also for the well-being of other people who are on these platforms, And so this is the reason why, Uber had brought forth the 120 days of change. And so I don't know if I even saw that much change at all. I mean, I saw a few things here and there, but it hasn't really been any different for me. Maybe the tips were nice and stuff, but some things you just kind of have to just deal with until you just move on away from it and stuff. But, and I understand that there are some people who try to do strikes, and sometimes strikes are very effective. They could be, you can still strike peacefully, excuse me, meaning that you don't have to go and try to go into a person's business and, tear up the office and spray paint their building, call somebody outside their name and stuff like that. You can still protest peacefully. Like, there's ways that you can do it. And I'm sure that we've seen people over the decades that have protested against injustice peacefully. And it was a very powerful effect. And I think that sometimes that may have to happen. And unfortunately, in some cases, there might be some backlash, there might be some retaliation, and I think it's sad, but it may be better in the long run. And so I think that there's times where you do have to speak up, and then there's times where you just have to say, this is not my problem anymore, or I don't care, I'm moving on anyway, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And so, I think that when some people have the same mindset, then they all try to jump aboard and try to help one another out. And that's fine. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I also think it's also based upon the person, the motive in it and why they're doing it. You understand what I'm saying? And so, I just think it's funny how people always have a comment about it saying you just leave or just quit this and this and this, but you don't know what a person's options are. You don't know, if they are looking for employment, you don't know. And so, like, I don't automatically assume that a person has a whole bunch of options when they may not and stuff like that. And I think some people just don't want to get a job. They want to be able to have a career where they have great benefits or they have a decent schedule and they get paid very well. And so, I think a lot of folks are just hopping on these app-based gigs as a last resort, not only because it may be a challenge finding, stable and good employment, but also they're also, looking at the flexibility and the scheduling. And so now I'm starting to see a lot of changes with Instacart and with Uber. It's just, they're acting like things are the same, but really they're already different. And, as far as the lawsuits go, that's kind of a touchy subject because that's going to be based upon the individual. And, even I'll be honest with you guys, even for instance, like with Publix, like I did my research on this company and they have been involved in lawsuits. And the number one cause for Publix being sued was discrimination. I was like, not them, but yeah, I saw it. Like if you Google Publix lawsuits, and I'm not trying to put them on blast like that. I'm just saying, you guys, it's already out there. So it is what it is. And because I always wanted to know, like, what is it about this company that makes some of them act like that? It's not everybody, you guys, disclaimer, this is not everybody, this is not every store, but this is only some of them. I just wanted to know what's going on with the company and what is the culture of it. And the cause has always been discrimination. And one guy, I think he had sued because they said that he had to call his hair off, but he was a Rastafari. So they wanted him to call off his hair. I mean, like there are Rastafaris in Florida, as far as like they work at Publix. I've seen them before. They have the long dreadlocks and the long beard because to some people that's their culture, that's their religion. And so, but the guy sued and he won. And so, because Publix wanted them because of his appearance. But if that's who he is and if that's just part of his religion, then I don't think you should tell somebody to cut their beard or their hair off because that's what they believe in, But he fought for that. And so that's what I'm saying, you guys. It's like, at what point do you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to fight, or you know what, I'm just going to quit because this isn't worth it. And I think that there are some people who do stand up, and once they voice their opinion on what they believe is right and expose some things, and they kind of bring other people to say, hey, you know what, this has happened to me too, this and this and this. Now, I'm not talking about the whole Me Too stuff because that's a whole different blog. I can talk about that later. But this gives other people an option to finally speak up and to, stand up for what is right. But then there are some people who just don't want to deal with it. And so I'm just thinking, okay, for those of you guys who are still interested in these app-based gigs, which is fine, because I'm still on them. But I think a lot of us are just dealing with it and just not worrying about what's going on, not worrying about the whole, like just the whole drama of it all. And just decide to just thug it out and just be like, you know what, I'm just going to just go through the motions and not worry about what people are doing, which is what most of us do anyway. But at the same token, if you feel so heavy about an issue that is going on within a company, instead of just always emailing them the same question or calling them about the same issue, when do you say, you know what, I'm going to start seeking legal action? I'm going to actually find, go and dig into the labor laws and contact the state about what they're doing, because that's pretty much what it seems like, you guys, is like a lot of people are starting to catch on to, things that these companies are doing just to get away with it. And so honestly, I would never call anybody a name, like call them stupid or idiot, because there are people like trolls on these that come on videos, that come on and comment on your videos or comment on your posts and say that you're stupid, you're idiots because, you're just acting like a slave and this and that. And, you're working, you're paying your bills, you're taking care of your kids, so for people to say that it's just wrong, and so like, some people look at this as a job, like as a regular job. And so however you want to look at it, this is you. So, you guys just let me know, like, when would you say, you know what, I'm going to leave it alone? Or when is a good time to say, you know what, I'm actually going to seek legal action? And when is a good cause for a person that is working on these app-based gigs to seek legal action? And I'm not talking about filing a lawsuit just to file a lawsuit because everybody else is doing it, or just to sue somebody for money. But, legally, like, when would you say, all right, you know what, now it's the time for me to sue because this is happening to me and things like that. Trust me, because I'm actually looking into some things. And even with me being harassed at this one particular store that I shop at, by a grocery delivery company, and I'm looking into some stuff because it's starting to happen more frequently. It's starting to happen all the time, every time that I'm going there. And it's not every store. It's only just one store. And so I'm just wondering, guys, what are your thoughts on it? What are your takes on it? And do you think that some of these lawsuits are justified? Let me know.